Hello, everybody.
Hi.
We are not live, despite what it says. We pre-recorded this a couple days ago, but we are excited to be here and excited to talk to you.
We are live in a sense in that we are in the chat. And so if you have any questions, you can message us or comments. We'll be watching and paying attention along with everyone else. And the video is live.
Yes.
So, yes. So it's Tuesday, even though it's Saturday. And we just went live. We're so excited.
Can you tell? Yes, we're excited that there's a new issue out.
If this airs, it means that we made it.
At least to Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yes. So we should probably start with something else just for a second.
Yeah, we've been on a lot of calls with each other lately, you and I, Siv, doing work and so on, but there's been a lot beyond work going on lately.
Yes.
So let's maybe talk about the elephant in the room, if I can call it the elephant.
Been saving that, haven't you?
Um,
I mean, we know everyone's exhausted. We are too. It has been quite a start to 2021.
It's quite a surreal time.
Yeah.
It feels a little odd to be here celebrating a new issue and launching campaigns and asking for people's support, which we're obviously, I mean, I do still feel excited, but that exists alongside this other tangle of emotions, this concoction of just living through everything that happened in just the last week.
Absolutely. I mean, surreal, I think, is a word that we both have used a lot in the last couple of weeks, particularly the last week. It's just been, I don't think there's a better word for it right now. It's these, we've had these great moments of excitement and joy and hope, and we've had these other moments that are right there with them, and all of them are important.
Yeah, and I've been thinking a lot about our colleagues in news journalism.
Absolutely.
We obviously believe in our work and sharing stories of exploration and discovery. And we also believe in the work of the news media, who's sharing a different kind of story, but stories that are also important.
Right. Yeah. And who have been doing some very challenging, always done challenging work, but for a lot of them, it became a different type of challenging in the last couple weeks, in the last week especially. And we always see great reporting. It's always out there, but I can't not mention how remarkable the reporting has been from many of our colleagues in the last week.
Yeah. And it just underscores the importance of news literacy and in reporting the truth.
Absolutely. I mean, now more than ever, right? The importance of media literacy, of news literacy, of the truth, and of being open to educating ourselves and being open to stories that challenge us. There are certain organizations that we support, and you'll see a couple of them on our website, and you might see a new addition as well, which is the News Literacy Project, which is a great organization. It's newslit.org is the website. It's a nonpartisan organization with great resources to help all of us be smart, active consumers. This is their language: smart, active consumers of news and information, and equal, engaged participants in a democracy.
Yeah, I'll also give a shout out to one of the other organizations on our website, which is the Committee to Protect Journalists. And their mission is, so they're an independent nonprofit organization, and they promote press freedom around the world. So they defend the right of journalists to report the news safely and without fear. So definitely check out both of those organizations. Committee to Protect Journalists is at cpj.org.
And I guess with that, we should get into
the winter 2021 issue, which is what published today.
Yes,
just live up on the website. I'm so excited. I'm almost crying. It's actually, I have something in my eye, which is perfect for me.
So you should have gone with it. You should have just gone with it.
I know. Just, it's live. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
So yes, it's another issue that's live. And with the publication of a new issue is also the launch of 5 crowdfunding campaigns.
Yes. So let's
So
chat a little bit. Let's refresh on how this works. Because we haven't talked to you about this specifically in a minute, and some of you will be new to us. Some of you might not have been around for the last issue, and we're excited to have you. Welcome. Yes. So how this works is we set up this system to reflect the true partnership between the journalists and the publication and the audience, right? So what we do with these crowdfunding campaigns, there's a campaign for each story, and we split the proceeds of those campaigns 50-50 with the storyteller.
yeah, and we only run 5 campaigns at a time. And those campaigns are for the stories in our most recent issue, which as of today is the winter 2021 issue. We just wrapped up the campaigns from the last issue, and we want to thank everyone who contributed last time. We raised more than $4,600 as of this taping, and we were seeing donations come in every hour as we were getting towards the end of those. So thank you, each and every one of you who supported our publication and each of the storytellers for those campaigns.
Definitely. And one thing I didn't mention when we were talking about the 50-50 is we split those proceeds on top of our rates. So we're still paying our storytellers like we always do, but this is a chance for our readers and those who appreciate the stories that they are consuming, that they're taking in, to directly support the people behind them.
Yeah, the people and also to support those kinds of stories and the causes that they often represent. So it's a good way for our readers to be able to give back to the Hidden Compass community, and we're excited to be able to offer you the chance to do that. So today we're going to be talking. Today's launch day, so we're going to go over just briefly each of the stories in the new issue. We're going to be here every Tuesday talking about a different story in this issue and its campaign. So we'll be here Tuesdays at 4.
That's right. It'll be your regular viewing of last time I think we started saying that it was kind of like a book club, but it's for articles. Mm-hmm. And so it's article club every Tuesday.
Yeah. And for those of you who are new and don't know who we are the co-founders of Hidden Compass. We are the publishers. We also edit stories and we assign stories. And so we are kind of the people behind the scenes of the magazine production. So during these calls, we talk about things from an editorial perspective and a publisher's perspective, as well as, we read the stories. And so we give that perspective and bring you into that world.
And also for the people who don't know who we are, I'm Savani Babu.
Dean Bergman.
As we said at the beginning, we're a little exhausted.
It's been quite a week where I kept thinking I was going to catch up on sleep because I thought, well, I'll stay up late to see what happens, and then I'll know, and then I'll go to sleep. But it's been kind of a wild time.
Yeah.
But we're here, and we made it, which is important. And I want to talk about the theme of this issue, which is tracing lines. And so each issue we publish has a theme, and we love to pick themes that obviously show up in each of our stories, but that manifest in different ways depending on the story. And
this is an issue that, just like most of them, that does this really well. I mean, that tracing lines theme shows up very differently depending on the story.
Yeah. So let's start with our portrait story. So we have every story in our issue is a feature of some kind, but we also have departments. And our portrait story for this issue is Field Truthing a Dream by Russell Frank. And the story on its surface is a portrait of artisanal cartography, but like all good stories, it goes much deeper than that. And it covers a lot of physical ground and metaphorical ground, and really takes us into these really cool places, including the overlap between cartography as a discipline and journalism. And Russell is kind of the perfect person to talk about this because he has deep roots in journalism. He got his first job at a newspaper in the 80s. We wrote about this in our newsletter that he spelled ukulele correctly on the edit test. And that helped him get the job. And so he's been a reporter for a long time, and he's currently a journalism professor at Penn State. So he definitely is bringing that angle into the story. And so we see that the overlap between cartography and journalism, which doesn't often come to play in articles, at least that I read usually. So that's really cool to see. And I'll also just add about this story that I love the play between the whimsical and the factual. Russell writes in this story about instruments of possibility and adventure and communicators of fact and truth, and how they can all manifest together. And we have some fantastic custom illustrations that go along with the story. So you should definitely check that out. Field Truthing a Dream. And we'll be talking more about that story. We're gonna have an entire Facebook Live just about that piece and about Russell Frank on Tuesday, January 19th, which is a week from today. And but in the meantime, you should go and check out the story and read it. And if you feel moved by the story, you should contribute to the campaign. 50% goes to us, other 50% goes to Russell.
Yeah, and the next story that I want to talk about is our photo feature. It's called Deception Islands. And it's a story told by Alex Krowiak. It's in our Human and Nature department. And I love this story for a lot of reasons. It's a story that's tens of millions of years in the making. And it explores a location that's near and dear to my heart personally. So that is also part of why I'm excited about this story. But it's an area sometimes referred to as the Galapagos of North America, which are the Channel Islands, which are like right there. They're off the coast of Southern California. We can see them from Santa Barbara. And so it's a story that takes us to this place that is fascinating. It has so much history and this bastion of biodiversity. But it's also, what I love about this story is that it's also a story about questioning what we think we know about a place, about history, about all sorts of stuff. And it's told by this wonderful photojournalist, Alex Krowiak, who San Diego-based photojournalist he leads expeditions for National Geographic. He's produced photo essays for the New York Times. But he also spent 3 years teaching marine science on the Channel Islands. And so he has kind of a knowledge of it and a connection with this little, it's not that little, but this archipelago off the coast of Southern California that not everyone has. And so it's a chance for us to get into a place and get an understanding of a place from someone who's spent quite a bit of time there.
Yeah, I love how that story brings in his role as an educator, because you learn so much through the story, and then obviously his incredible photography. And yeah, great piece. We'll be talking about that one.
We'll be talking about that one on January 26th.
Mm-hmm. 2 weeks.
Tuesday, January 26th, 2 weeks from now.
Yeah. Next piece on the list is Alchemy That Binds. The Alchemy That Binds, which is our Chasing Demons story, one of my favorite departments, written by Cecilia Hagen Lee. And it takes us to Georgia, but perhaps not the Georgia you're thinking of right now, not the one we've been reading about in the news lately. We go to the country of Georgia. And it's a story about the ancient history of alcohol and its dark and light sides and the fight to preserve tradition. And ultimately, it's about Cecilia seeking to understand her own family's and all of humanity's connection to alcohol and connection through alcohol. And Cecilia is a multifaceted storyteller. We have several people in this issue who are talented in different arenas. She's written poetry and cookbooks. She's a James Beard Award nominee and also a producer. She produced a feature film and a documentary and a podcast. So she's been up to a lot of incredible things, and it's a great story that weaves in a lot of history, its personal narrative and its history, and its gets into ancient traditions of winemaking, and it's been a joy to work with her on that piece. And we'll be talking about that one on February 2nd, which is 3 Tuesdays from today. Perhaps you're noticing a trend.
Well, and the next story that we will be talking about is No Dog is an Island by Richard Pallardy. it's our time travel story, and there are a lot of mysteries in our stories, and this one's another fun one and fascinating one. It is the story of an ancient wild dog that still prowls the mists of the New Guinea highlands, and a place where you have equatorial glaciers, which is not something you normally hear about. Um, but it's also it's a story of this elusive animal and trying to understand this animal. But what's really cool about this story is that it is also a story about the elusive origins of man's best friend. So it's a wild dog that potentially has the ability to shed some light on, your pets.
Yeah.
And Richard is a Chicago-based journalist. He spent 7 years as an editor with Encyclopedia Britannica. So there's a certain amount of really fascinating knowledge that we're going to get from the stories that he tells. And he writes mostly about animals and plants and how they relate to how they interact with their environments. And that's really on display in this story, how these animals relate to these environments that they're in. And we'll be talking about that one on Tuesday, February 9th.
Yeah. Richard is definitely, at Hidden Compass, we say we love nerdy stories. We love to showcase nerds. And Richard came to us. We looked at his work through with Encyclopedia Britannica, and we're like, yes, he's going to be so good for this story. Last but not least piece in this issue is Tracks to the Past by Diane Selkirk. It's in our Quest department. And Diane she's a travel writer, and her work has appeared in publications like BBC Travel and National Geographic Traveler and CNN Travel. And she's also a sailor. She and her family spent years circumnavigating the globe in a sailboat. So she's no stranger to, we don't say epic very often, but she's no stranger to truly epic voyages. And I would put that one in that category. So it's fitting that she wrote our quest story, which is, there are almost several quests in this piece. It's a quest to understand the North, which is this almost mythical and distant place. And there's a rich history there that's connected to Diane's own family. She has indigenous ties that she's working to unearth and better understand. And so she's on this quest to try and bring back connections to this landscape and her family's indigenous past. And one of the things I love about this piece is that we know that there's not just one indigenous voice, there are many. And this is a piece that that layers the voices from many different groups, including the Inuit, which just jumped into that sentence early, and other First Nations. So I definitely learned a lot through the piece. And it's a quest that expands beyond the author. Eventually, it's a quest that all of humanity is facing. So it's really quite a sweeping story, and it covers a lot of history, and it's a pleasure to be able to publish. And we'll be talking about that story last but not least on this list of Facebook Live events, which is Tuesday, February 16th.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I think we've been excited. We're always excited about pretty much all of the stories we publish. And part of what excites us is also just getting to work with these really talented writers and photographers and artists and things like that. And I don't think that this issue is any exception to that. And so I'm excited to hear how people receive these stories.
Yeah. We encourage you to go and read every piece and to head on over to the journalist profile pages to learn even more about the people behind the stories. And if you are moved to do so, to contribute to their campaigns and to support them and us directly.
And also share the stories that you enjoy.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if you read a story and you think that you know that other people are going to enjoy it, share it. I mean, that's a big one too. We can all use some good stories in our lives.
We definitely can. And we're looking forward to having the time and the space to delve into each of these pieces individually over the next few weeks or the next few months, actually. and to get into all of those layers and go beyond just kind of the teasers that we brought in today.
Definitely.
So, join us. We'll be here every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific. And you won't want to miss the article club. We should come up with a name for this, because we say it's like a book club for articles. So if anyone has any ideas, drop it in the chat. Maybe as we're watching ourselves, we'll have some ideas to drop in the chat.
Yes.
And we'd love to hear your feedback as always. It's so good to see all of you. And thank you for watching and for living with us through all this madness and putting up with our slightly sleep deprived brains at the moment.
Yeah. But it's been great talking to you, and we will see you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday. Take care, everyone.
Bye.